Creating a Pokemon team can sometimes be overwhelming, but I'm here today to demystify that. We're gonna learn together how to create our first team of VGC Pokemon and finally get into Pokemon strategy. Let's get into it. Start by opening your browser and writing Pokémon Showdown. Pokémon Showdown is actually a really good site. It's a battle simulator where you can create your teams. It's what I use all of the time. By the way, this is not sponsored. It's just Pokémon Showdown is really good for creating your teams. And when you enter the site, you want to begin by choosing a name. Over here, for me, it's Marco. 1, 2, 3, and I got my password. Over here, we have also all the options that come with it. There are many formats that you can play in Pokemon Showdown. You can pretty much play any imaginable format. You got Ubers, UU, all of these, but more into that in later videos. But for us, it'll be VGC most likely if you guys want to do the same as me. And you're going to go into Team Builder, which is right over here. So you're going to create a new team. You're going to want to click on New Team and select a format. And go over here in VGC. Reg G. Now, to look up at rules from the Pokemon game, you're gonna wanna go on your browser and just search the format. You're gonna see all the rules for Reg G, which is pretty much the only available format running right now. You're gonna wanna have a legendary, a restricted Pokemon on your team, because that's pretty much the strongest Pokemon in this format, and you're only allowed one per team. Now, I suggest before you create your team, think about what you're going to make it around. So choose your legendary, your restricted first, and then develop your team around it. Make sure to choose something that's actually good, such as Calyrex Ice or Calyrex Shadow, or maybe Eternatus or whatever. Just don't take Cosmog or Cosmoem, because these two, they're not even Pokemon. They don't even have moves. I can show you. Teleport, Cosmic Power, Splash. It's not good. It's a terrible Pokemon. So when you choose your restricted Pokemon, maybe you want to do something creative. You have two choices. First off, you go with something classic such as Miraidon, Calyrex, Zamazenta, Terapagos. There's a lot of really good restricted mons. Most of them are recent legendaries, but you can also go for the second option, which is creating a team with older legendaries such as Mewtwo, Dialga. It doesn't matter, just go for something that's cool and that you will like to play in your team. Now, for the purpose of this video, I'm going to create a team with you guys. You'll be able to create whatever you want afterwards when you'll understand the principle. But for the purpose of this video, I'm going to take Miraidon and show you what it looks like to make a team around a legendary. So first off, you're going to build your legendary, which means you're going to put items on your legendary, a moveset, and some stats. You're just going to look at the base stat, which is this stat sheet. You're going to look at your stat spread and see what is the best you can do with this Pokemon. For instance, we have Miraidon, which is Electric Dragon. A pretty good typing, because electric allows you to hit many Pokemons with super effective moves or neutral. But something to be aware of, electric types cannot hit ground types, which means the best offensive typing for Miraidon is blocked by ground types. You need to be aware of this when you build your team, and we'll come back to it later. For now, there's a lot of special attack on Miraidon and a lot of speed, as you can see. So you're gonna wanna boost these stats, because for legendaries it's better to have something that hits hard, because most legendaries have the highest stats in the game. So actually having a legendary that hits opponents really hard is beneficial, because it hits harder than anything else. Now that you've done that stat spread, you can put in HP. Depending on what mon you are doing, you can change it up. I'd like to go for HP, because why not extra bulk? And you're gonna wanna choose a nature depending on your Pokemon. Here I have Miraidon, so I have multiple options with Miraidon who are pretty good. We have Timid Nature, which is plus special attack and less attack. This nature will give me a boost in speed, which will allow me to outspeed enemy Pokemon, so move first, and it will only be negative to my attack and not anything else, so my bulk is okay, and everything else is okay. But there's also another option. If you want to hit harder, Miraidon's more on the special attack side, so you're gonna want to take Modest, which is plus special attack and less attack. This will not affect your bulk, it will only affect your attack, and you're not using that stat. You can just do that with your Modest nature. Here are the IVs, which you're not gonna want to touch, honestly. You don't really need to touch your IVs, except if you're doing a trick room, but that's something else, that's for another video. If you're doing a really basic team, then you're gonna want to let those at max, because you want your Pokemon to be able to have maximum stats. So over here we have the item. Depending on the Pokemon you have, you will want to choose different items. For instance, Miraidon over here is pretty good in special attack, so there's multiple options for him to play. First of all, since he's not that bulky, you can go for something like Focus Sash, which will allow him to survive moves that will otherwise kill him in one shot. But not many people run Miraidon Focus Sash, because he's not frail enough to actually use it to its full potential. So you're gonna want to put something like Life Orb or Choice Picks. I would go personally for Life Orb, because this does the following effect. All those attacks do 1.3 times damage, and it loses 1/10 of its max HP after the attack, which means that every time I attack I have a boost on my damage, which is really good, but in counterpart I lose HP. Miraidon, it's okay to rock this because he's pretty bulky, not that much, but still it's a legendary, so it has more stats than everything else. Running Life Orb will not impact your gameplay. Now let's go to the movesets and let's check up on what Miraidon can learn. We have multiple good moves for Miraidon. Since it's a special attacker, you're gonna wanna look for this little icon over here, which means special attack. And there's many good moves for Miraidon since it's a legendary. First, I would look for these spread moves, which are Discharge or many others. I'm gonna put for you on the screen which are spread moves and which aren't. There's Dazzling Gleam, which is spread, there's Discharge, which is spread, there's many others, but for instance here I'm gonna wanna click Discharge. Why? Discharge is really good because it's an electric move, spread 30% chance to paralyze adjacent Pokemon, which means since Miraidon is an electric type, when it uses Discharge it gets the stab boost. A stab boost is a 50% boost in attack for your attack. So for instance, instead of being 80% base power, it becomes 120. You know how crucial power is in this game, and Miraidon is just cracked with damage, so this is really good. Also, you're gonna want to pick probably Draco Meteor, because Draco Meteor lowers the user's special attack by 2, yes, but it's 130 plus the stab boost, which is ridiculous. It does way too much damage. So it's your best option for Miraidon in this case to hit hard. Now, since your Miraidon is an attacker, you're gonna want to probably put more attacking moves on it, but still, forget, we're doing a VGC team, so it's 2 against 2. When it's 2 against 2 and you want to protect your Miraidon from maybe a focus attack, because both enemies will attack your Miraidon, you want to be able to protect him. This move is crucial, protect. This prevents moves from affecting the user this turn. Whatever move it is, you'll be protected for 1 turn. This is crucial for your team to actually work, because if you can't preserve Miraidon, then you will not be able to win properly, because Miraidon is the center of your team. So protect is crucial on Miraidon. Some people like to not run protect on their legendaries. I like to run it on most of mine because it's just a safe option for me. Now, there's another move that is crucial, that is another type of move. We got 2 attacking moves that are pretty good, but I would go with, as the last move, Volt Switch. Now, Volt Switch, you might debate here that I should put Electro Drift. Honestly, Electro Drift is busted. You can switch off Discharge if you want. You can honestly run Electro Drift, it doesn't matter. Electro Drift's probably better, most people would say it. Discharge hits everyone though, depends on your point of view. But Volt Switch is a pivot move. When you use Volt Switch, it's a special move, unlike U-turn. The user switches out after damaging the target. So that means that you can safely get rid of your Miraidon on the field and put him back on the field later, which is really good because Miraidon has an ability that is called Hadron Engine. Now, there's not many abilities on this Pokemon since he has a signature ability, but Hadron Engine is really good because on switching, it summons Electric Terrain. It's pretty much like Pincurchin, but way better because during Electric Terrain, the special attack is 1.3 times better. That's busted because Miraidon, when he gets on the field, gets an Electric Terrain that boosts his electric moves and boosts his special attack, and Electro Drift is boosted on super effective hits. It's 100 base power, 100% accuracy, so it can't miss. Miraidon is busted. That's what I'm telling you. There are many legendaries that are just completely busted. You cannot ignore them in the current meta. And you're gonna want to put level 100 because everyone rocks level 100. And you can put a shiny if you want, doesn't matter. For the Tera Type, now this is crucial. There are 2 types of Tera Type you can put on your Pokemon, which are offensive Tera Type and defensive Tera Type. Those 2 Tera Types are crucial. Now, if you want to attack all out, you could just do Tera Electric Miraidon, which will result in just having such a huge boost that I cannot calculate the base power of your Electro Drift. It will just annihilate anyone. But Electric Type is risky because if you Tera to Electric and your opponent clicks a Ground Type move, which is super effective against you, you will not be protected. Now there are many viable options over here, but for a Miraidon who's Electric Dragon, you can just go here and go type calculator Pokemon, and here you can just click your typing, which in over here is Dragon, Electric, which it takes damage from Ground, Ice, Dragon, and Fairy. It's super effective. You're gonna want to find a type that resists most of these or is neutral so that you can actually cover. That's a defensive Tera type to actually allow your Miraidon to survive easily. In this case, I'm just gonna go for max attack because it's simpler for the purpose of this video. Now for the rest of your team, you need to build it around your Miraidon. So you're gonna wanna kind of mix in support and damage to create a perfect synergy with Miraidon. Now here, a Pokemon that I really like in such kind of team is Iron Hands. Because Iron Hands, it just has ridiculous HP and attack, so it's bulky. I'm gonna make it bulky and offensive. And it has Quark Drive, which Quark Drive, if you don't know, when electric terrain is active or booster energy is used, your IS stat is 1.3 times better or 1.5 if it's speed. Now this ability is crucial for Iron Hands because it means that when you start your game next to Miraidon, or that you send in Iron Hands afterwards, the electric terrain will boost your highest stat, which in this case is HP, which I don't think you can boost, so it's probably attack. But that also means that Iron Hands has a empty slot, so you can in your items, so you can put him a leftover. And what is really good with Iron Hands is that he has access to many support moves. By the way, leftovers restores HP at the end of each turn. But Iron Hands has access to many great support moves. I would put Detect on Iron Hands so that you can actually protect him. I would also put, you can play Whirlwind, it's weird, but it would probably work. You can play Substitute, you can play Protect or Detect, it doesn't change anything, it's the same thing. But I would put probably Drain Punch if it's in the recommended. I don't think it's recommended. But what's important that you put on your Iron Hands is the move Fake Out. Fake Out is a priority move, which means it will hit first most of the time because there are also other priority moves. But it's only the first turn you're out. But Fake Out has a 100% flinch chance, which is ridiculous considering that you're just taking a turn of your opponent off the game. Now also what I like to run on Iron Hands in such a team is Heavy Slam, because Heavy Slam allows you to have a coverage move and, you know, hit hard. You don't need a electric type move since you have Miraidon, so we're gonna go with Drain Punch. We're gonna go with Drain Punch. And let me put Heavy Slam back. You're gonna want to go with Adamant. Adamant, it boosts your attack and lowers your special attack, so it's pretty good for physical attackers. Retain that nature because it's gonna be really good for future teams. Now you're gonna put it level 100, and whatever you want to do, depending on what you want to do, you're gonna change the typing of your Tera again. Now the Fake Out is a really good move and it's useful in pretty much every team, so I recommend having at least one Fake Out user in every team you create. If you don't, then it's fine, but there's a lot of good Fake Out user, such as the best Pokemon in VGC, Incineroar or Iron Hands, Even Blastoise learns it, but no one uses him like that. But it's just a really crazy move. I mean, there's Chien-Pao, which learns it too. So just remember that those Pokemon learn Fake Out and try to utilize them in your team. Now, for synergy, you're gonna want to have something that can hit ground types, because so far your team is really weak to ground types. 2 electric types, not good against ground types. So you're gonna want to have something that hits ground types and that has synergy with your team. Now for that, I don't really have any ideas or any plans for this specific Pokemon. So we're gonna search a grass type Pokemon that has synergy with your team. For that, you can filter your Pokemon search and look up at Pokemons. Now for instance, I think what I'm gonna need in my team is an Amoonguss. Amoonguss is a Pokemon that is pretty good because he has access to, yes, poor base stats, but a lot of HP, and the ability Regenerator, which Regenerator, if you don't know, restores 1/3 of its maximum HP when he switches out. That means every time I switch out Amoonguss, I'm going to be getting more HP back. So a percentage of what I lose basically comes back to me when I actually go out to this Pokemon. Now I'm going to put Rocky Helmet on my Amoonguss so that when opponents hit him, they take damage. Now I'm going to choose as a moveset Energy Ball, Rage Powder, Spore, and Protect. So this moveset is a bit weird because not many people run Energy Ball, but I want to run Energy Ball because I want to be able to hit ground types for super effective damage. Of course, we put our Amoonguss to level of 100. And we also need to invest the last of our stats, which Smogon, which by the way is a great, gives you great spreads, thinks we should put more points in special defense, but I put the Rocky Helmet, so I'm going to crank up my defense a bit and then crank up my special defense. This is custom, don't do this at home. I'm not even that generally good in spreads, but I'm going to try to make this the best I can. So this is what our Amoonguss looks like. It's pretty handy, it's pretty awesome, and we'll be able to handle ground types in the future. Now the rest of your team you can make however you want, but just remember the general tips that I gave you to center your team around your legendary, in this case Miraidon. So don't go around doing like bad stuff with random Pokemon. Just try to center your team around a Pokemon and it'll be way easier. Once you get better at the game, you'll be able to create your own team and do whatever you want with any Pokemon in the game, and it'll be much more fun. But for the beginning, limit yourself to a team that is pretty meta, and then when you're good, go for ridiculous things if you want. Now this concludes our video. If you've appreciated it, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it. Now I will probably do a part 2 to show you guys the in-depth of Pokemon strategy, but for now, see you guys later.